You know, thousands of new products hit the market every single day. And the sad truth is, most of them fail. But what if I told you that behind a huge number of those failures is one single, totally avoidable mistake? Well, today, we're going to break down the strategy that stops that from happening. A strategy that turns all the chaos of the market into a crystal clear plan for success.
So let's just get right to it. Why do so many promising ideas, products that people poured their hearts into, just fizzle out? It's not always a bad product, or bad timing, or even just bad luck. Nope, the real reason is often hiding in plain sight, a huge strategic error they make right at the very beginning.
And here it is, the single biggest mistake you can make, trying to be everything to everyone. Just think about it. Imagine a restaurant it claims to serve 5-star French cuisine and authentic Mexican tacos and cheap pizza. What do you really get? You get confusion. When you try to appeal to everybody, you end up with a message so watered down and generic that it doesn't excite anybody.
So in this explainer, we're going to build the antidote to that exact problem. We'll kick things off by busting this one-size-fits-all myth. Then we'll walk through the 3 essential steps for any winning strategy: slicing up the market, picking your perfect target, and then owning your position. And to wrap it all up, we'll reveal a killer formula that boils your entire strategy down into one simple sentence. Okay, so this whole customer-driven strategy really comes down to this super powerful 3-step framework: segmentation, targeting, and positioning. Think of it like a map for navigating the market. First, you divide up the terrain. Then, you choose your battle. And finally, you plant your flag and define exactly who you are to the people you're trying to win over. So let's start at the beginning.
Step 1 is all about slicing the market. It's really the art of segmentation. Imagine you're planning a massive party. You wouldn't just send a generic invitation to everyone in the entire city, right? No, you think about different groups of friends, your work friends, your college buddies, your family, because you know they all have different vibes. Well, that's exactly what smart marketers do with customers.
So what are we really talking about here? Market segmentation is just the process of taking a huge, messy, confusing market and dividing it into smaller, more manageable groups. And the goal isn't just to make random groups, it's to find these little clusters of people who share really specific needs or characteristics or behaviors. We're looking for meaningful patterns in the crowd.
So how do you actually slice it up? Well, you can use all kinds of different variables. If you're selling to businesses, you might look at their size. Are you targeting a tiny, independent coffee shop or a massive chain like Starbucks? Totally different worlds. If you're selling to people, you could look at their lifestyle. Are you selling to a time-crunched young professional in the city or a retired couple enjoying the quiet suburbs? Each one needs a completely different approach.
But here's the catch. Just because you can create a group doesn't mean it's a useful segment. It has to pass 5 critical tests. First up, is it measurable? I mean, can you actually count these people? Are there 10,000 of them or 10 million? If you can't put a number on it, you're just guessing. You're flying blind.
Next is the group accessible. This one's just common sense, right? It's great that you've discovered this niche community of Antarctic researchers who would absolutely love your new thermal underwear, but if there's no way to actually advertise to them or ship your product there, that segment is basically a fantasy.
Third, and this is a big one, is it substantial? Is the group large enough or profitable enough to be worth your time and money? You can't build a whole business around just a handful of customers. A segment of 5 people isn't a market. It's more like a book club.
Number 4, it has to be differentiable. This is so crucial. The group needs to respond differently to your marketing than other groups do. For example, if you're selling a new energy drink and you find that both college students and office workers respond in the exact same way to your ads, then for the purpose of that campaign, they're not really 2 different segments.
And finally, your segment has to be actionable. This is the reality check. Does your company actually have the resources, the skills, and the bandwidth to create a program that can effectively win them over? It all comes down to, can we actually do this?
Okay, so we've done the work. We've followed the rules. We've taken this big, chaotic market and we've carved it up into these neat, useful segments. We've created order out of the chaos. But that's only half the battle, because solving one problem has just created a new and very important question. So now you're looking at this menu of potential customers, and each one looks pretty good in its own way. But remember, the whole point of this exercise was to avoid being everything to everyone. Now you have to choose. So, which slice of this pie are you going to claim as your own? And that brings us right to our second crucial step: Pick your target. If segmentation was like drawing a map of the entire world, well, targeting is about choosing the specific battlefield where you know you have the absolute best chance to win.
So, market targeting is that deliberate process of evaluation. You carefully look at each segment you identified, you weigh its attractiveness, and then you select the one, or maybe a couple, that you're going to dedicate all your energy to serving better than anyone else out there.
So how do you choose? Well, it's a balance of looking outward at the market and looking inward at your own company. Let's say you've just launched a new brand of high-end, eco-friendly running shoes, and you've identified two potential segments: elite marathon runners and environmentally conscious casual joggers. You've got to ask yourself, which group is bigger? Which one is growing faster? And then you have to look in the mirror. Do we really have the credibility and the tech to appeal to pro athletes, or are our resources better spent winning over the weekend jogger? It's a huge strategic choice.
All right, so you sliced the market, and you've chosen your battlefield. Now it's time for the final, decisive move. Step 3. Own your position. This is all about planting your flag. It's about claiming a unique piece of real estate inside the minds of your target customers. It's about defining who you are to them.
The legendary strategist Michael Porter absolutely nailed it when he said this. Competitive advantage comes from the value you create. And positioning, that's just how you define and communicate that unique value. It's the answer to the question, why should your target customer choose you over all the other options?
Let's make this real with a classic example. Let me ask you, who are the competitors for Diet Coke? The obvious answer is, well, Diet Pepsi, right? But what if a customer is really looking for a calorie-free afternoon pick-me-up? Suddenly, the competition expands to include black coffee, sparkling water, maybe even a sugar-free energy drink. See? Understanding your position means understanding the real competitive landscape from your customer's point of view.
To build a really powerful position, you've got to focus on these 4 C's. First up, you need clarity. The message has to be simple and totally unmistakable. Think BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Boom, you know exactly what they're about. Second, you need consistency. The world is noisy. You have to repeat that message over and over. For decades, Gillette has hammered home the best a man can get. Third is credibility. People have to actually believe you. Toyota knew that the Toyota brand just wouldn't work for luxury cars, so they created Lexus from scratch to build that credibility. And finally, you have to be competitive. You need a unique edge. The first iPod wasn't just a music player. Its real advantage was that seamless iTunes ecosystem that nobody else could touch.
Okay, so we've done all this hard, strategic work. We've segmented the market, we've targeted a specific group, and we've defined our unique value. Now, how do we tie it all together into a tool you can actually use every day? That brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, the positioning power formula. This thing distills everything we've talked about into one clear, actionable sentence.
And here it is. This right here is your brand's North Star. To your target segment and their specific need, our brand is the concept or category that provides this unique point of difference. Every single marketing decision you make, from designing a new feature to writing a simple tweet, should align with this statement. It's what keeps everything you do focused, consistent, and powerful.
So look, this framework, it isn't just some boring business school concept. It's like getting a new pair of glasses to see the world. The next time you see an ad or walk down a grocery store aisle, you won't just see a product, you'll see the strategy behind it. You'll be able to decode who they're targeting and what position they're desperately fighting to own inside your mind. Now that you have this tool, you'll never look at brands the same way again. So go out there and start seeing the hidden strategies that are all around you.